Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are talking about what you don't know about hair color could cost you. The Googles is not always going to be enough to help you. You're going to want something. You're going to get something. It may not be the something that you was asking for. And what do you do when that something ain't the something?
What?
And you try
I
to
know
Google
that you know that I know that you know what?
Yeah, yeah. Who's on first, sucker? You know, that's what we are talking about. Is who's on first today? When the something you want isn't the something you get, and the something you search is not the something you get responded.
I guess I'm gonna start this out with I was at a beauty supplier picking up stuff for the shop. I mean, it's maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, and there were two young girls over in the hair color aisle.
Okay.
And the girl, and I don't want to mention the name of the place, but they also retail to non-professionals.
Okay.
And she was giving them highlighting lightener and 40 volume to bleach their hair.
Okay.
And my dog is starting. And because I'm at home because they're painting my shop today. So anyway, I'm sitting there listening to this, and I was like, I can't believe this. She's giving them 40 volume and highlighting bleach to put on their heads. So I waited till she walked away because I didn't want to embarrass her. And I walked over and I handed them each my business card. And I said, I can fix this for you. Whoa, where went my phone? I can fix this for you. Give me a call when you turn yourself orange.
Okay.
Because
And they looked at you all confused and said,
they looked at me and went, oh, thank you. And I'm waiting for a phone call.
I mean, what? But you didn't hear the whole consult over there. What was going on?
This will make your hair blonde.
This is some of the situation of what's happening right now. You know, I
Yeah.
talked this in class.
Go
Don't
ahead.
say
Keep talking.
I want a formula. I have a situation. I'm trying to do this and I need a formula. And then everybody's asking for a formula. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. You can ask for a formula, but there's so many more questions involved that we need to ask. You are creating a corrective color situation on your hands before you even realize what you're about to get into. It's insane. It's insane. I can't stress this enough. How many times I'm on a forum and I see it's like, oh, my client is brown and she wants to be blonde. It's like, okay, but what level of brown? What is going on? How much hair does she have? There's so many questions: texture, density, porosity. And then the responses I get is, I just need a formula right now. I don't have time. What don't you have time for? Because you're about to make a terrible, terrible mistake. And then you're going to spend 3 times, forget about twice the amount of time to fix it, undo it, and fix it. It's going to take 3 times the amount. May not even get right. You may end up losing a client. I mean, this is you playing hot potato, and you're going to get spiked.
Right.
What was that show? They were playing hot potato, but when the ball exploded, like all spikes came out and stabbed them in the hands. It was like some. It was like some Star Trek-y type space.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna have to call Granville for that.
Oh man. but that was the thing. It was just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I have a mug. I had a mug. I dropped it. That a client gave me, and it said YouTube isn't beauty school.
Okay.
I think that we get so tied up in time instead of doing what's correct. Does that make sense to you? This lady came in, like, it's like that meme that you see all the time. I've been box dyeing my hair level 2 for 2 years, and I want to be blonde, and I only have 2 hours. And it's the same thing. I think that what we forget, and you and I preach this all the time, is color principles don't change. The levels of lightning don't change. Existing pigment at each level of lightning, and the color wheel does not change. And you and I have said this 1,000 times, and I'm going to let you say it because it's your favorite statement. Science is.
Oh, science is fun. Science is dumb. It don't know what you want it to do. It only knows what you tell it to do.
And that falls right into place with what we're talking about today. As far as I'm concerned, is color works a certain way, but you've got to know what you're dealing with. There's not a cure-all. That's like you said, well, she's brown and she wants to be blonde. I need a formula. What? Sure, I'll give you a formula,
May not match, but you need a formula. So from the client's perspective, because the clients don't understand. So from the client's perspective, what are they thinking?
That's a great question, because they spend a lot of time doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And, I saw it on TikTok. This person went from black to blonde in one day. Okay, that's great. And no, she didn't. She may have been blonde. What color blonde? Was she orange? Was she the color of a pumpkin? Was she, there's so many, what's the term? Mitigating circumstances that come with each individual head of hair.
Look at you.
There's a word for you. I liken this to, being in line for knee surgery. But my doc, and I'm like, all right, well, let's get it done. And my doc is like, no. You've got to do this, this, and this before we can fix what's wrong with your knee. And it's the same thing. We have to communicate with our clients of, we need to do this, this, and this to get you to here. And my biggest problem is that people are so hung up on, I got to do it today for her, or she'll find someone else that'll do it today. And then she'll be back to you because you were honest with her and told her, we got to do this, this, and this to get your hair prepared, so we don't burn it all off or turn it into cotton candy or turn you into an extension client.
So what is the obsession with time? Because I think that really is a huge thing that a lot of people harp on. I don't think it's the biggest deal, but everybody seems to be in such a rush to get everything done.
It's because we are all instant gratification addicts. We want it now. We don't want to wait for it. Look, what you and I were talking about when I got on with you. What are you looking for? You're looking for a same-day cleaner. You want it done.
I'm looking for a same-day cleaner because I screwed up. But okay. I'm not gonna. If I can't find one, I'm not like. Then I'm just gonna wear something else. Oh, wow.
Right. But But my point is we have become so locked into right now instant gratification at our fingertips. Let me Google this. Let me Chat GPT this. Let me go to YouTube. I mean, you're not as old as I am. But do you remember when you were in school and you had to write a report?
Yeah.
What did you have to do? You used to have to go to the library.
We couldn't afford to go to the library. It was for free, and that was still too expensive for us.
But
so you had to go. letter B of the Britannica, and I had to find and trade with whoever had the letter of the encyclopedia that I needed, and that thing was out of print by a decade.
But you had to go to the encyclopedia, you had to find the information, then you had to disseminate the information into a report, right? People now, you can go right to the interweb or internet or wherever you get your information from. Boop, 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 boop. Boom, there it is. And now with AI, you could, and the AI will generate a report for you.
Good luck thinking that's accurate.
Well, but that's my point is we've become a instant gratification world. And that's where the obsession with time comes from, and everybody is at full speed all day long. I can't tell you how many of my clients, man, they come blowing in, and then I'm like, well, are we going to do a style today? About no. I'm just going to go over to your blow dry station. I'm going to run the blow dryer over my head a couple times so it's not dripping wet. And I gotta go. I gotta pick little Johnny up from hockey practice and take him over to volleyball practice, or whatever. It is. We are a full speed society.
Okay, fair enough.
Here's the interesting thing, guys. Talk with your clients about how many of them actually sit and have family dinner every night.
Wait a minute. You just said, here's the thing, and interestingly enough, what the hell did you just grab and put down and then switch the subject?
What, this?
What you said and what you just did while you started talking, and where the sentence went a completely different direction.
Did it? You're gonna have to rewind that and see that. You got me going on a hot topic.
I had a squirrel moment there.
Me too. It's okay. It's our Monday.
What you're saying is correct. Okay, then I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is accurate. That's correct. Okay, fine. Then, from the stylist perspective, then the issue that we're running into here is more of, we need to either slow that down or we need to set that up properly then. Because you have a choice, right? You can either get caught up in that whirlwind of busyness that the client schedule dictates, or you could try to manage it and slow it down.
Yes.
Unfortunately, then it seems like the stylist just gets swept up in the crazy.
A lot of times. And then that's when we get the phone calls going, I need a formula for this. Yes. And I think you're being more succinct than I was. I was going a little sideways. Very much so. And I find myself from time to time buying into that we got to get this done. The client wants this. Well, what the client wants and what the client needs usually are two different things, right?
Then what is it about hair color that can't do what the client wants? Why can't hair color do what the client wants?
Because hair color is science, and science is
fun.
And
the client wants what they want. So
science is dumb. So if you have Mrs. Smith coming in, who has been, you've been doing a level 5 on her for the past 2 years, and all of a sudden, she wants to be blonde in one step. How's that happening, Ed?
Gonna do a lot of highlights and do it quickly.
Okay.
And then tone it. I have 10 pearl. Just tone it. What? What's the problem? I don't see what's the problem here.
Okay.
I'll just throw her under the dryer if I need an extra lift. Okay. What if the client wants this? Well, what's the problem? Why can't I give the client what she wants? Why can't color help me do what I want?
Oh, color can help you do what you want at,
Okay.
but there is doing the proper procedure to keep that hair in the head.
I'll do the proper procedure, but it should only take about an hour. What's the problem now?
No, yeah, okay. Okay. Do not be calling me at the end of that hour sending me a picture going, how do I tone this? What do I do with this mess?
All right. Well, all right.
Because
Fine.
I personally know your theory of 40 volume fixes everything.
I'm Johnny Stylist. I let it process 30 minutes. It still didn't work.
You know, you're unpacking a Pandora's box just with that statement.
Am I?
Why is everything 30 minutes, Eddie?
That's what we time.
Time
If
by
your color takes longer than 30 minutes, then your color must suck.
because it's a bad tube.
No. Bad color. Why should color take longer than 30 minutes? Everybody times 30 minutes. Why should color take longer than 30 minutes?
Okay. Wow.
I just realized the whole crux of our thing, and I am nailing you really hard with it.
No, you can nail me all you want with this because this is what we talk about all the time. I'm good with this. First off, if your color only takes 30 minutes, and we're talking about, are we talking about just covering gray, or are we talking about the full doing decolorizing?
Shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Oh, 30 minutes. That's it. That's just 30 minutes.
Look, man, I Googled it. It says, generally speaking, 30 minutes is the average processing time. So,
Well, what does your manufacturer's direction say?
Google said,
No.
what?
What are you have the book. I wish I was in the shop because I would have the handy dandy freaking color book with me. Here's the deal. What does your manufacturer's direction say?
They don't know what they're talking about, okay? They're just manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
The reality in the
They only
salon
spent millions
is
of dollars developing this color. Johnny Stylist knows better.
no.
Eddie Stylist knows better.
I Googled it.
You Googled it.
I Googled it.
Yeah. And if you Google a runny nose, it says you have cancer.
You're telling me I went on a forum and I made a post and everybody agreed with me that 30 minutes is usually the processing time that they use. So how come they get to use 30 minutes and I don't?
Eddie, I'm going to channel your mom for just 2 seconds here. If everybody is jumping off a building, are you jumping off with them?
My mom would never do that. My mom would say the opposite. She'd say, can you go find all the people jumping from the building and be a lemming with everybody else? Go away. Here, you want my ma? Well, I don't have a cigarette, but just pretend. Okay. Hey, baby, go find the lemmings jumping from the building. Can you go jump with them right now? Go away.
Well, I'm going to go on a rampage here for a second. So 30 minutes. Your timing. You almost made me swear. 30 minutes. And that's and 20 volume for everything, right?
Covers gray.
20 volume for everything.
Well, you shouldn't need more than 20 volume to lift if you know what you're doing.
Lift how many levels?
If you know what you're doing, then it shouldn't matter. I spoke to people in a forum. People responded. People agree with me. It shouldn't matter. You don't know. You don't know Ascension. That's your problem. That's a you problem.
Well, I do not know Ascension. That I know. But what I do know is first off, wow. Wow. First off is 20 volume and 30 minutes is not your standard. Okay? It is not. Guys, I know that it said so on Facebook and TikTok and whatever things you're part of. But what I highly recommend everybody to do is read your manufacturer's directions. They're in the book. We all have the books in the back. I know they're great to smooth foils out on, but if you actually open it up, there's colors in there. And they'll also tell you what the base of each of those colors is, if it's blue, violet, or whatever. And usually there's a color wheel in there. And most companies will also give you where color lives at what contributing pigment is at each level. And then it'll give you timing in the back. But the timing is just a rule of thumb. Do you not check the hair while it's processing?
So you just said it. It's just a suggestion. It's not a rule. It's not.
Timing is a suggestion. It's not a rule of thumb. So 30 minutes, it's not set in stone. If at 30 minutes you're covering gray with your 20 volume, because I know you use gallons of it, do you not blot a little off, especially if it's a brand new client, to see how it's processing? Or do you just 30 minutes, that's it, let's go?
Ain't nobody got time for that. All right.
There we go. See, we're right back to where we started. And then
I'm done.
No. You open this, so we're gonna finish this. So then in a week and a half after she's done, 3 or 4 shampoos on it, and it now looks like it's just a hollow mess at her roots. What's your explanation? Oh, the color sucks. Your color doesn't work. I must have got a bad tube.
No, she just needs to go in the sunlight. It looks better. It's just the lighting in here.
No, she needs to go. It looks better at bar lighting, is what you're saying. Yeah, just don't go in direct light. You'll be fine. Don't go into the office till we see each other again.
The main thing is ingredients change constantly. Science changes constantly. Chemistry changes constantly. Okay. The 30-minute is an arbitrary timing that we developed as stylists because it's comfortable for our book. It fits in our book. And it's nice, neat packaging. While they're processing over there, 30 minutes gives us enough time to go do a blowout, to go do a haircut and blow dry, to go do another application, whatever it is. And then this way we can nicely stagger everybody's appointments, fit them all in. Because we are here to help you, the client, get your hair done. And we want to help all of you get your hair done. And you appreciate it, so you recommend and refer, or you should be recommending and referring other people to your stylist if you really appreciate your stylist nicely. You should be doing nice reviews for your stylist, on the Googles. So when somebody else is looking it up, instead of going to the store and talking to the clerk, talking about, what I should do, they should be calling, getting consultations, right? So then your stylist should get busier and should get so busy to the point where they just don't have time to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours doing an application on everybody. It's why we have classes. That's why you have so many videos. That's why social media is so popular. It's why everybody's looking for more efficient ways. Can you spend 2 hours doing an application? Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Should you spend 2 hours doing an application? That's subjective. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. Do you have to spend 2 hours doing an application? You don't. And that's the difference from stylist to stylist and everybody's approach, depending on the client, depending on what's going on. So if there is quicker, easier ways of doing something and you can achieve the same result, then so be it. Go for it. But at the end of the day, like you're talking about, texture, density, porosity, what is going on with the client's hair? Can the client handle whatever the hell is going to happen? Because can you make it all happen in 30 minutes? Like you're laughing at me. Yeah, I can make it happen in 30 minutes. How much hair do you want left after this said 30 minutes? Because if you still want all of your hair, I probably don't recommend this. We should probably reschedule this or start setting you up in phases, and let's do phase 1 now. And next time I see you, let's do phase 2. Color takes time. Color properly to do what you want it to do takes time. And if you ain't got time for that, like I says, oh, we's gonna make it happen. you, but as the song goes, you don't always get what you want, but sometimes.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Look, that's my seriousness. All right, I'm not goofing off anymore. Well, I'm still goofing off, but okay. Tell me where I'm wrong. So tell me where I missed the
You didn't
mark.
miss anything. You hit that right on the. You actually, for once, you were very succinct and hit it on the head. Here's the deal, though. I'm just going to agree with everything you said, and as a stylist, as a professional, there is nothing wrong with making a game plan with that client, setting them up for X amount of time that we're going to do this, and you need this appointment, this appointment, this appointment, and set a whole schedule up with them to get them where they want to be. There is, at least, let's call it 50-50. There's a 50-50 shot that you are going to get complete satisfaction when you're dealing first time around, when you're dealing with a corrective color. Agree or disagree?
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Sure.
Okay. So you've got to do set your client on the path, work the path with them. Plus, you get a few people like that, you're going to start noticing that your book is getting fuller and fuller and fuller because you've got these people on their program. They're going to go tell their friends, oh, Eddie hairdresser, he didn't do it all in one shot. He wanted to keep the hair in my head, and look at my hair now, blah, 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 blah. People talk. That's how you build your reputation. It's not grab the quick buck. It's not do it in 30 minutes. Corrective color does not happen in 30 minutes. I'm sorry. No, it does not. No.
Okay, so then here is one part where I disagree with you. Social media, Google, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, there is education on there. So why is that education not enough? Why do you have to come to classes? Like, if there is so much available content out there, there's millions of videos out there, there's millions of forums, there's millions of posts, there's millions of people all talking all day, every day with each other. Why does educational classes still matter? And then I'll even add to that, why is our classes getting filled so much more these days? Like, we've always had consistent, steady classes, right? Why are our classes filling up even more where we're having to add additional dates? What is the trend shift that you're seeing between online versus in-person education? Because everybody, so far as I'm supposed to know, everybody told me in-person education is dead or unnecessary.
Wow. I got a lot of wows today. I don't know what's going on. Here's the deal. It's not even a deal. Here's my interpretation, and this at a buck gets you a cup of coffee. I think that as hairstylists, as professionals, we are very visual spatial. And I think being in person and garnering information in person sticks with you a lot longer than something you read while you were smoking a cigarette in the break room, or 15 different opinions on one thing that you see in a forum, which I'm not dogging forums out because I think there's a lot of useful information in there too. It's all part of the puzzle of what we do. Social media is part of that. Not only getting education, but also putting our work out there. That's part of our digital business card. It's part of, but I think it's more important for us to be right there in the moment, with that educator and getting that information from them, and not just, and it's not just, and I'll tell you what really sets up what we're doing apart is yeah, we're sponsored by a color company, we're sponsored by All Nutrient, but we're not jamming All Nutrient down people's throats. We're giving them information that can apply to any product line that they use. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't
Now,
gatekeep information. That's a big thing on our side.
yeah. And that's the other thing is the information comes fast and furious. It is not targeted. What at least in my experience, what you and I do is it's not targeted to buy. Yeah, there's some of that in there. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we're sponsored by a company, but most of our information is about you can take it back and you can use whatever color line, whatever with it. Because why? Because we start with the basics and then we build from there. And the basics are always going to be the basics. It doesn't matter if it's a color line made here in the US, it's a color line from Canada, it's a color line from Malaysia. I don't know, but bottom line is the basics are the basics. And the information that we give it's like a Lego. It can just snap into anything. That's my impersonate. That's my interpretation. And also the fact is there is a boatload of knowledge that we put out there, a boatload. We've had to actually dial it back because we make people's heads spin.
We're always dialing it back. So then corrective color is a big thing, right?
Yep.
And especially now we're going to be coming off the winter. We're going to be approaching spring. So corrective color, people are going to want to, well, I'm already starting to see it now behind the chair. People are starting to ask for lighter. They want to go lighter. They want to go blonder. So what is it about corrective color? What is it about the timing? What is it about what needs to be done? Why is it I know why every spring everybody wants to go lighter. But the approach to it and the classes that we put together, why does it get so much more popular now that everybody wants hands-on highlighting techniques? We always see a rise in application and hands-on workshops now. Is it just people are still highlighting in the winter? It's just something about the spring. All of a sudden, everybody is interested about corrective color.
Well, sure, because all winter long, people have either gone darker. I'm not saying dark, but they've darkened up. They've added low lights. So they've done whatever. And spring is here. They want to change. They want that bright. They want to feel fresh and fun, just like the weather that's coming. Well, unless you live in Illinois, where you get all 4 seasons in one day. But that's really what it is. And I'm just going to harp on what I just said earlier is when you're in that corrective situation, texture, porosity, density, that's your first thing. And then what you've got to do is you've got to go to what is your target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to be. Okay. What's your existing? And then you can fill in the blanks with what should I be using to do this, this, and this, and this. Highlighting. Wow. I had a girl come in not that long ago. She was highlighted somewhere. And she had, well, I'm going to draw 2 things together. Did you see the Olympics with the skater that won the gold with the?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. I've heard about it. People have showed.
I believe she's Asian, and she had her hair lightened, and then she had these like brown, like horizontal stripes. Right there, it was super cool, very cool. Whoever did it, awesome job, and she was really cute. And anyway, but this girl had where they folded the foil. They didn't have complete saturation, so she had these little dots on the hair from where the lightener didn't completely lighten because the fold pushed it away or they didn't saturate it enough.
Okay.
So, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, and I had to go through it and feather and I feathered it, with I use some of the charcoal lightener, which I love for freehanding. But anyway, but the same thing is we get so obsessed with time, and I'm sure the person that did these highlights is competent. They're a competent hairdresser, but we get so obsessed with time that we start cutting corners. And that's kind of what I'm getting to is with hair color. Yeah, there are things that you can kind of fudge with to get you a couple more minutes here and there. But with our, I don't know what the right word, God, I'm drawing a blank now. With our standard applications, it's just like anytime I found a problem with hair color, 90% of the time it's been application. Not saturating the hair enough.
I'll agree with that.
Holidays. I still know some people that are bottle babies and they go in there, and they're taking this thick of sections. You're not getting saturation on that. You're going to get, we call them holidays. I don't know. Everybody calls them something different. But the point being is that we've got to make sure that our basics are covered, our basic skill set, especially when you're doing corrective color. Because why do you want to go back and make yourself double work? So if you're foiling or if you're trying to lighten someone up, make sure you've got that good saturation, which takes me right to, it's kind of a subject you and I touched on, and you do a better job of explaining it, but mixing lightener. Because what do you need to make hair brighter? Lightener, right? Because does color lift color, Eddie?
No. I have to say no.
Now, a certain gentleman from New England, and I had a big discussion in New Hampshire, and he was telling me that with the 11 series, you can lift color.
That's why I'm smiling, because I know standardly I have to say no.
And he was telling me if you add, and then it came full circle, and he said, well, yeah, if you add Elevare to it, which Elevare is the color booster for all nutrients, it's a hair color booster. What does Elevare do, Eddie? It boosts the ammonia content, right?
I'm not saying nothing.
Tony, I hope you're watching. But anyway, and I told him, all right, well, show me. And then all of a sudden he moved on to something else. But anyway, Eddie, what's the mixing ratio for lightener?
Yes. Pancakes. Here's the thing with mixing ratios, and then this is what a lot of people, they don't understand. So many times it makes me giggle a lot in class when I have a stylist and it happens too often. They say they don't like measuring their lighteners. They just eyeball it. They get it to the consistency they want. The other thing that makes me giggle a lot is you'll have the other stylists who will measure, but then they'll just measure out their own ratio of what they want. It got nothing to do with what the powder needs. It's just what everybody wants. It's what they want, If you put more powder than developer, then your mixture is going to come out very, very thick. And that's okay if that's what you like, but you have to understand that is going to dry out very quickly, so you're not going to get a lot of lift. Conversely, on the opposite side of that, if you put your powder in there, but you're watering it down, you're diluting the hell out of it because you're putting so much extra developer, your powder is completely dissolving into the developer. So once again, you are not going to get a lot of lift. What you don't realize is you are relying on the peroxide to give you lift instead of the powder mixture, your lightener mixture, your bleach mixture. is not giving you the lift that you're looking for because you've dissolved the living crap out of everything. There is not enough powder left in there to do what it needs to do. Peroxide will give you lift by itself. Yes, it will. But it's not going to give you as much lift as you're looking for. That's the problem. And then they go and they ultimately start adding heat, or they start adding little knick-knacky things in there to try to boost it up, to just get them over the hill, get them over the hump, just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. But then you start running out of time. So then you're like, all right, I'm just going to tone it. Toner should not be lightening hair. If your toner is lightening hair, you need to reevaluate your toner. I don't think it's a toner anymore. I think you've got liquid color, and you're just under processing it to make it work like a toner. And I'm not naming any brands directly. I'm just saying, think about it, okay? The purpose of a toner is to balance, even, deposit, blend, neutralize unwanted tones. Nowhere in that language is there lift and lighten. You need ammonia to lift and lighten, man. Toners should be deposit only color. You've already lightened the living crap out the hair with some kind of lightening. You know, whether you use a lightener or a bleach, right? How much more can you lift the freaking thing? There ain't nothing left in there. The difference between using a lightener or a bleach for lightening and then using a color to lighten hair, color needs to, when you're using color to lighten hair, you need to dissolve and remove natural pigment to make room for artificial pigment. That's the action of lightening with hair color. When you're lightening with powder, lighteners, or bleaches, you are not diffusing natural pigment anymore. You're dissolving natural pigment. And that's it. You are not making room for artificial. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You are only decolorizing. That it's its only one sole purpose in life, is to decolorize and strip and remove everything. Now, people are, well, my bleach freaking tones hair at the same time. Yeah, that's a specialty lightener. No, that's just standard from the company. It's standard from your company, that your manufacturer has decided to give you a product that is trying to do multiple beyond the action of what lightener is supposed to do, or beyond what a bleach is supposed to do. Well, I have Bond Builder built into my, yeah, it's built into. It don't come like that standard. There's a difference, you know? I keep talking about pancake mix and pancake batter because that's what we just use. Cake mix, I don't care what the hell, cookie mix, but that's what we use to describe the thinness of the viscosity or the thickness of the viscosity, how much you're mixing, all right? You have to understand at its core. The directions are there for a reason. If this manufacturer has decided that their powder has to be equal parts with developer to activate it correctly, that's how you're going to get 5 to 7 levels of lift, 7 to 9 levels of lift, 9 to however many until the hair disintegrate level of lift. I don't care, really. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I don't care how much levels of lift you're supposed to get. If that's what it's designed to do, then you got to follow them ratios to get those levels of lift. When you start putzing around with the ratio and you start making it up your own thing because you know better, or because you asked a question out there in the webs and somebody told you this is what worked for them on their client, who you don't know got the same kind of hair your client got, this is where the insanity comes in. And just because they timed it for 30 minutes and it worked for them does not necessarily transfer over one-to-one means it's going to work for you. Why? I don't know. Maybe you got a better client. Maybe you got a worse client. Maybe, life hates you. Maybe life loves you. I don't know. Don't care. That's a you problem, not a me problem. Okay? This is the difference. How it becomes a me problem and it becomes a, us problem, you and I, this is why we have classes. We are openly inviting a bunch of random hairdressers to come in. Some of them we already know because they come often. Some of them we don't know. We're inviting a bunch of hairdressers to come into our class and start dumping their problems onto us. And we're sitting there trying to sort through, like we're playing an episode of Columbo, of a whodunit, like a episode of Sherlock. And we're sitting here trying to do all this mental math gymnastic things to break it down, to be like, oh, you meant to do this, you wanted to do this, but instead you did this, and it was the butler in the kitchen with the candlestick. I don't know who done it, but that's the difference. Lighteners decolorize, color diffuses and replaces, toners straight deposit. That is it. That is their core functions in life. How you now start playing around, how you start customizing, how you start finding brands that are doing a little bit extra by adding additional toners built in to help mitigate, how you were using the word mitigate earlier. It'll help mitigate some of the contributing pigment that's exposed. That don't mean it's going to eliminate it all. Just because it says it got a toner built in, do not go in blind and be like, oh, well, it's got a toner built in, therefore, blah, blah, blah. No, be prepared. You might still have to additionally tone afterwards. Just because it's got a non-builder built in. Hell yeah, I'm all for it. Let's go. But you're still going to snap that freaking hair if you faffling around. Can I say faffo? Can I at least say that?
I think you can. Okay. I'm going to say yeah. We'll get dinged by YouTube.
If you're going to find out, you're going to find out. So have at it. That's the whole difference.
Hey, I'm a big proponent of bond builders, of oils, whatever you can add to your color and or lightener to help keep that hair strong. The key word there is help. It is not a suit of armor for the hair. You mess around, you take that hair too far, I don't care how many bond builders are in your lightener and or color, the hair will eventually go, you know what, I'm done here, kids. Bye. Go buy some hair extensions. I came across those pictures, gosh darn it, I should have downloaded them, of a young lady. This was a couple years ago, on a Saturday afternoon, shows up. They send her down to me. She's in full-on tears. And at another salon, they bleached her 3 times in one day. Her wedding was the following week. Everything here snapped off because they stuck her under the dryer. And where does most of the heat from the dryer go?
Yeah.
Because she had her head down, she was in her phone, right? So we had a big mess to clean up. But my point being is yeah, and that's one of the things she said to me was, well, they said their lightener was conditioning.
It could be. It could very well be. I'll give it. Look, I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe it was.
I'm not talking about the lightener. I'm not dogging the lightener out whatsoever, because the lightener did what it was supposed to do.
It did exactly what it's supposed to do. And the circumstances that you're describing happened exactly the way it should have happened. Unfortunately, in this case.
But it was a little bit of operator malfunction. Mm. Actually, a lot of bit of operator malfunction. My point being, the whole crux of this whole thing is manufacturers' directions are there for a reason. And mixing ratios are there for a reason. My eyes were so opened up when I went and I spent those 2 days in the lab, okay, where I actually saw what they do to test all these colors, and the true chemists, people that have, diplomas down to here, and what they design these things to do. There's a lot of money and or time spent in developing all of these product lines, every single product line out there. And the directions are there for a reason. Now, do we bend the directions every now and then? Absolutely. But once again, you have you don't. I know you don't. I know. But you have them there as a guideline.
No,
And
hold on
like
a second. Hold on a second, John. Hold on. Let's address this. You're saying something really cool here. Do we sometimes bend those rules, right?
yeah,
Okay. But when you bend in them rules, you're doing it for a targeted, you're doing it to achieve a targeted result on the client who you should have consulted with, and they should be in agreement and alignment with you, and they understand this is the direction that we're going.
right.
All fair is fair, all things being equal. There is a reason why we're bending rules. We're still trying to creatively figure out, because if we just followed the direction straight up and nothing else, everybody's going to end up looking the same, like a cookie cutter. Well, how they say, like the step forward wives?
Right.
Yeah.
Stepford Wives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that was you jumped to my next point. And that's where custom color comes into play. That's
Okay.
where, yeah, that was I was moving into that point. You jumped. No, you're all good. No, as weird as it is, sometimes we share the same brain. But point being, my point is that everything then goes to custom. But Eddie, science is fun, but science is dumb.
The reason why I say science is fun, but science is dumb is because the next sentence is the most important thing. It doesn't know what we want it to do. It doesn't know that we were trying to bend the rules. It just knows, oh, you mixed me this way, so I have to do this now. Oh, you
Correct.
mixed me that way. Oh, I have to do that now. That's all it's doing. It's just following your lead. You're mixing it. You're deciding to time it this way. Then it's saying, well, at this amount of time, I should create this effect, that effect, whatever effect. Note to self, for our next class coming up in April, in our color class coming up in April, we need to buy a bag of rubber bands.
Okay.
So this is, I think this is a great exercise that anybody can do. Get a rubber band or a scrunchie, a hair tie. I don't care what material. We're going to use rubber band in our class because that's going to make the most sense. It's the best visual. And I do care. We're going to need a thin one. We're going to need a thick one. And we're going to need, something in between size. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Fine hair is obviously thinner. Medium hair, normal hair is obviously the middle one. And thick hair is obviously the thick banded, rubber bands, right?
Right.
And then we're going to sit there and we're going to do elasticity stress testing on them.
I love that.
And we're going to pull the crap out of them until they snap. And that's basically going to show you the action of what's happening during lightning, during hair color, during pretty much anything that's happening with any degree of oxidation, because that's what's happening during hair color. There's oxidation happening. There is stress factors happening onto the hair. Now, a rubber band is a material that you cannot repair. Hair cannot fully functionally be repaired because technically it's not alive, it's dead.
That's not what Bernard says.
But you can mend it slightly. You can, mending is not the right word. You can reinforce and you can restructure it slightly to band-aid some tensile strength back into that. Okay. And this is a lot of the things of what April, May and June. The second quarter.
April, May, and June.
This is what our color classes are going to pretty much be primarily focusing on is the stress, the stress test or the stress degree of elasticity during lightning, during coloring, during decolorizing, because at the end of the day, would you agree with this statement? Every form of hair color application is a form of corrective color.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whether it's a gray coverage, whether it's a standard coverage, whether it's a corrective coverage, whatever.
This goes right to everything that you and I have always said, that each and every client, when they come in and sit down, you're doing a mini consultation with them, that whether you want to or not, because you've got to see what that color has done in their hair, what they've done to that color, because this is another subject all by itself. But our clients only use the products that we give them, and they're not at the beach, and they're not at their lake house, and they're not using a 450-degree flat iron on their hair and all this other things. Yes, each and every touch up, it is a potential corrective color. You're constantly tweaking your client's color anyway. It's not just sit down and let me slap this stuff on your head, right?
I mean, even if you are, it's still, there's so many, I'm liking that word. There's so many mitigating factors involved, that you have to evaluate and address. You actually came up with the perfect word of the day, mitigating factors.
Well, look, and we do it each and every client that comes in, whether it be for color, whether it be for a haircut, whether, whatever service they're coming in, you are analyzing that hair, and there are factors that exist in that hair. Every head of hair is not the same. How boring would that be?
It'd be easier. It'd be a lot easier, I tell you that.
Then we're just factory workers.
I've seen Lucy on an assembly line. She looked like she was having fun. I don't know. That could get overwhelming sometimes too, apparently.
When she was eating all those chocolates. And you know what, guys, we're out of time, but we have a corrective color class coming up in April, May, and June. We have our color basics. Go to HTBbeauty.com. Check out what our class offerings are. We have some education that's also up a little bit that kind of whets your appetite. We invite each and every one of you, if you're in Illinois, come to our classes. We'll not only will we entertain you, we will also give you a whole bunch of knowledge. If you're not from Illinois and you want to come to Illinois and come to one of our classes, we would love to have you. And help support us. Go to HTBbeauty.com. And as always, guys, we invite you to make a difference one client at a time. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week.
Catch you next week.
The SFTB podcast was not recorded in front of a live studio audience, so thanks for joining us for today's episode. If our hair topics made you smile, give us a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll read them while waiting for our color to process. Share this video with your stylists and friends. It helps us make a difference, one strand at a time. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because your hair deserves all the latest and greatest tips.